Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and this is Cleaning with Chaos. Now, you might ask me, how am I going to clean a comic live in this setup? Well, that's pretty easy. I'm going to tilt the camera down so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'll talk you through it. I'm going to work on this comic for a while, so just settle back and. If you have any questions, by all means, type them in the chat and I will try to answer them. I'll glance up every now and then to make sure I don't miss too many of them. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and tilt the camera down so you can see what I'll be working on. And of course, it's Fantastic Four number 184. This is from 1977. Now, I have a lot of chemicals I could use to clean comics, but I'm not going to do that because I want you to be able to use these same techniques to improve some of the comics you have that might be a little bit dirty, like this one is. So what I'm going to use, I have a mechanical pencil with an eraser on it. I'll be using that eraser, not the pencil side. I have a white nylon eraser. And I also have a nylon tip. Now, I have 3 different sizes because there's different things I'm going to use them for. Different areas of the comic that I'll use them for. But the technique is basically the same no matter which one you use. You want to be gentle. You want to use it lightly. You don't want to press down. If you press down on it, well, you're going to take away the gloss of the comic. And that's not a good idea. Now, we're going to start with this one. And it's still got some dirt on there from the last comic I cleaned. And we're just going to start very easily in the white areas. And I'm flicking it. I'm putting it down. And I'm very gently just kind of flicking it off like that. And it looks like I'm not doing anything at all, really. And that's all there is to it. You just very gently go over the white areas. We're not going to go over any of the colored areas, not with these, because it's too easy to remove the color. An eraser absolutely will remove the color of a comic book. And I'm starting with this little box here. And it's always easier if you start with an area that you know. This little box, that's one little area. That makes it a little bit easier. And like I said, you just flip it off like that. Now we'll move to the 30-cent box and do the same thing. Just very gently. And what I actually do is I press down just a little bit and I lift up. Press down, lift up, like that. And if you have an old comic and one of these erasers, you might want to try this at home. I have a Golden Age backing board behind the comic to protect it from my cutting board here because I do use this cutting board when I'm shipping things. I don't use it for food. Now you might see that I tend to go a little fast, but I have done this so many times that I can kind of get away with it. And I will probably go over those same areas 4 or 5 times before I'm done. But I want to move on to another area. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the comics code. Another small box. Let me get a drink. Small white box, and the same thing. Very gentle. And just clean the comic. Now let's go to the F. We'll start with the F and we'll do the same thing. Very lightly press down and pick it back up almost right away. So there's almost no pressure going onto the comic at all. Let me get another. There. Now the fingers on this hand can sweat and it won't hurt the comic. Like I said, if you have any questions at any time, just go ahead and type them in chat. I'll be happy to try to answer them. And because I can never find my brush when I need it, I have a microfiber cloth that I'm going to use to brush away the. Yeah. This is actually very relaxing to do. And sometimes when I'm a little stressed out, I will do this just to relax. As you can see, it goes pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm probably going faster than what a lot of other people might go. Just a small amount at a time. Go down onto the comic, come right back up. I bought a comic online one time that I could tell it had been cleaned. And when I asked the guy about it, he said, "Oh, no, it's never been cleaned." But you could see where they had taken the eraser and gone like this over the white areas because it had these lines. It took me forever to get that out of it. I have a phone call. Just a minute. Nope, they hung up. Should probably put that phone on mute when I'm online. And again, if you have any questions while I'm doing this, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will see what I can do about answering them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the white areas on the front of the comic. Then I'll do the back of the comic, and then I'll go back to the front. I don't know if I'll stay online for the whole thing, but that's what my plan is for this. And once I'm done, I'm going to press it because it has a nasty crease in it. Then, of course, I'll offer it back up for sale. I don't know if any of you have noticed any difference in this or not. Like I said, it's a matter of going over it a little bit at a time. And what I'm doing is it's actually a movement like this. So it goes up and down. So it's no pressure on the comic. I need to get one of those real thin ones. I think I'll be taking a trip down to an office supply store and see what I can find in their eraser section. If they have an eraser section. Yeah, it does. How are you doing tonight, Radar? Got some comics I need to send you one day. I've got almost a full box. I accidentally muted myself. Uh, so yeah, that happens sometimes. I accidentally hit the mute button with my mouse. Like I said, when you're cleaning a comic, basically, or a magazine or a book, just take and you want to do gentle flicking motion. You don't want to rub hard. You just want to barely touch the comic or book or magazine or whatever you happen to be cleaning. Poster, the same thing. The idea is all you want to do is take off some surface dirt. You do not want to remove any gloss. And that's really all there is to it. Anyway, welcome Bolo up. I assume I was muted when I said it before. Mrs. Big Silverstack, glad you could stop in. And yeah, it's been a while since I did a live. Actually, it's been a while since I did a video at all. I just don't have the time anymore. I had to really work on my schedule today to make sure I would have the time to do this. Basically, eBay makes me no money. And with the way the economy is, I have to focus on doing things that make me money, which is mostly eBay, because I'm not getting a job. I'm retired. I'm not going to go back to work for somebody else. That's not happening. Got my first job when I was about 14 years old, and I worked until I was 66 at different jobs. But yeah, that's long enough for somebody to work. And if the economy wasn't so screwed up right now, I wouldn't have to worry about it. Well, like I said, diecast, I haven't been on for a while because it's not something that makes me money. And auctions on my channel don't seem to work. So I go on other channels for auctions, just on, well, I joined Horizon Picks on his. And I don't worry about selling stuff on YouTube too much. eBay is where I'm making the money, and I'm not making much on there. But it takes time. I think the longer you do eBay, the more you make. And it's also a matter of luck, putting something up at the right time for somebody to see it, and having something somebody wants that they can afford. I did put my My Masters of the Universe, almost all of those are up online now on eBay, including my Wondar. I put that up for 1,800. I'll get it eventually. It's a it's kind of a rare figure, so oh no, on eBay I have more toys on eBay than I do comic books. A lot of action figures, loose action figures mostly. Star Wars, um, some plush. I've got like 3 tubs full of Hot Wheels on eBay. Uh, Paperback books. I don't think I have less than 100 comics on eBay right now. I looked at Macari. I wasn't too pleased with the way they do business, so I decided to stay away from them. I'm just going to concentrate on the one for right now. Definitely don't want to get into cross listing. I think that's a mistake for a lot of people start cross listing way too early. Plus, I don't want to spend every minute of every day. I don't think so. I don't think I have any Valiant comics on eBay yet. Anyway, all the ones I have, you probably have already. So today I put up, hey, Jackson Roy Kirk, glad you could stop in. Today I put up Pog Slammers, plastic Pog Slammers. 15 assorted ones from the 90s for $9. $9.99 plus shipping. And as soon as I find my Pogs, I've only got about 700 or 800 of them. I'll put those in batches and sell those too. Apparently, they're starting to get popular again. I think it's just people that had them when they were young and they're trying to collect them again. But the idea with this was, yeah, you can send me an updated list. I doubt that it's going to help. I haven't really picked up any Valiants in almost a year. But my idea was this is I can show you on a static video. When I say static video, I mean a pre-made video, how to do this, but it's not the same as being able to sit here, talk to you about it while I'm doing it, so you can actually see what I'm doing. And if you have any questions, answer them. And I showed it to you before I started on the back. It's a little bit better. Not much, but it is a little bit better. I'm going to flip it over and go back to the front for a little while. And we're going to start the same way I did before. Start with this area. It's won't take as long, of course, because I've already gone over it once. Yep. Yeah, this is the one I'm working on. I'm going to get it cleaned up. I'm going to press it. It's got a pretty bad crease in it right here. But I can get that out. It breaks color on the back, so it's always going to break color. I ran across one that I listed the other day that I never knew it was a subscription copy until I was looking at it real closely for all the defects. Because I like to let people know what they're buying when they get it on eBay. And I was thinking here, that it's a very fine copy. And I looked at it a little closer and saw that real light crease. Turned it over the back, saw where it was a little dirty on the crease, and I went, damn, subscription copy. Very good. And that's what it is. You get a subscription crease in a comic, it's automatically a VG. And for those of you that are number literate, I have to look at my cheat sheet. That would be a 4.0. So that one crease dropped it down from an 8.0 to a 4.0, just like that. And it was really the only thing that was wrong with it. But I have my standards when it comes to comics. Yep. Microfiber towel because I can't find my brush again. I'm always losing that thing. I need about 6 of them. Then maybe I'd be able to find one. Actually, I just need to clean up the other room. If I could get my good camera to stay on long enough, I would do this in the other room. where I have all the tools at my disposal all the time, and I wouldn't be jammed up with a computer keyboard here and a keyboard here and a keyboard over on this side and trying to fit it all in. Not necessarily. My brush might not be where I last left it. I wouldn't worry about it. Uh, don't bother with methyl cellulose. I mean, it's okay for some things, but if you mix it wrong, you can screw things up really bad. So I would, if I were you, I'd just go ahead and stay away from it. Although it does make good glue for putting the binding back on a book. I used that to put a paperback book back together because I couldn't find my white glue, my PVA glue. I know. The books weren't originally put together with PVA glue, but the bookbinders tell me that's what I should use when I repair them. So, who am I to argue with professional bookbinders? Delco moves a lot of stuff in my house. It's my cat, in case you didn't know. I didn't use my traditional start music for this video. I might add it on later to the beginning. This back is really bad. I probably should just go ahead and clean it. That will be a lesson for a different day. This is all about dry cleaning. It's nice to be alive again. I mean, live again. You can tell it's me because all you can see is my hands, right? It's going to take a while to get this clean, I think, going this way. But the tools I'm using today, almost everybody has at their disposal. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. And if you don't have them, heck, I don't have anything that I'm using that you can't buy at Walmart, except maybe the Golden Age backing boards. But I could have just as easily used a piece of typing paper for that. Well, when I'm done with it, you can buy it if you want, Jackson. Then it would be yours. Printer paper, copy paper. I think I do have some actual, honest to God, typing paper somewhere. Onion skin. I have some somewhere. There's no telling what I'm going to have. I mean, I even have a one-eyed Bubba or Java the Hutt. This is one of the original ones, by the way. I have another one that's an original that is not missing the arm. I've got Super Decks. There's just no telling what I'm going to have. I don't know what all I've got. That's the crazy part. I go in the other room, dig things out, and go, oh, I didn't know I had that. Yes, I do have carbon paper. I have both black carbon paper and orange carbon paper. Now, I haven't used it in about 35 years, but I do have it. Oh, I'm screwing up a comic book, Horizon. I'm taking the dirt off of it, ruining the value. While you're here, why don't you post the link to tomorrow night's auction? Yep. Yeah, he changes the time every week. We got to keep you people on your toes. Well, let's see. His guests. I think I'm one of them. At least I was this morning when I got up. And I think Tricky Trapster is going to be there again. He's always fun. Yeah, that's true. You never know. I'm paying a little more attention to the spine because that's the dirtiest part aside from down here where that stain is. And like I said, I think I have a way to get that stain out, but I need to practice it a little more before I release the information to the public. I did it on another comic, and the stain is almost completely gone. So I'm fairly confident it'll work, but I'm not 100% positive. Yeah, it's starting to get a little better. Jessica's Dumpster Girls. Glad you could stop in. She finds all kinds of neat stuff. If you get a chance, go check out her channel. It works though, doesn't it? The crumbled eraser actually does work. I don't have that. I don't have that eraser here right now, so I won't be showing that trick. That's how you learn, though. Is you just got to practice with it, keep going, and then the next thing you know, you get a somewhat clean comic with a big stain in the bottom. I think it looks a little bit better than what it did when I started. Now I've been taking a cloth like this and going over the inside, or I'll take my brush. Uh, I was told uh, to use the like the compressed air out of a can, like you use to clean a keyboard. To try that, that works really well. So that's a thought. I'd use my air compressor, but you know, too much power, and I don't have a one of those little bells to collect the water. Now I can decrease the amount of air coming out of the air compressor. That's not a problem. What the biggest problem with using my air compressor right now is the hose went. So I ordered a new hose, and that's exactly what I got was a hose, no fixtures on it. So I have to order fixtures for it now. I missed the white on on the fours. Not that there's much on there. Needs to work on this A a little bit. Yeah, it's a large cutting board, and I actually use it as a cutting board, which is why I have a Golden Age comic behind the comic. I don't want it to cut on any of the cuts. Now I don't use it as a cutting board for food. I use it as a cutting board for corrugated cardstock because a lot of things I ship I put between two pieces of cardboard. And since I don't get complaints about doing it that way, I'm going to keep on doing it that way. Especially action figure collectors. When an action figure collector gets their little action figure and it's got a piece of cardstock under it with a bent piece of cardstock on top of it, all wrapped up in plastic wrap, they just like that. It takes them 3 hours to get into it, but you know, the figure they know is not damaged in any way. That or I've got these little boxes. If they order like 4 or 5 of them, I got little boxes that'll fit in. There you go. Just here browsing. Glad I could help you out with that. And once you get to where you know what what you're doing, it doesn't take that long. I've been working on this book for what, just about an hour, and it looks a whole lot better than what it did when I started, or at least I think it does. Does that mean I'm not going to use MacuClean on it? Probably not. I'll probably use it on there anyway. You know what? I'm not going to. Just because I want this book to be dry cleaned only, with one exception. The method I use to get that stain out is a wet method. I imagine you should have all kinds of erasers, Roy, since you were or are an artist, even if you don't practice it. I practice once in a while, trying to get a little bit better at drawing. I've got a drawing book up there somewhere with 6 pages of circles on it. I'm just practicing drawing circles, which you would think is kind of stupid, but it isn't. Because circles are pretty much the basis of it. Circles, squares, and triangles, pretty much the basis of everything. I believe that got that A up a little bit better. I'm going to do a little more to the back. Probably wouldn't hurt to do a quick press on this before I continued, but sometimes when you do a quick press on a comic, and you're not trying to flatten it, you're just trying to warm it up. You warm the paper up, it loosens the fibers, so it's easier to get the dirt out of it. I don't know if that made any sense to you or not, but yeah. When you're using the gum eraser, there's 2 ways to do it. You can just crumble it up with your fingers. There's 3 or 4 ways actually. You can do like I do and use some sandpaper to get it loose, or get yourself one of those little sieves, one of the little small ones with the wire sieves, and then you can just grind it in there and get some out of it. That works really well too. I should buy one day. Next time I go to Dollar General, I think I'll buy one. A lot of people like those old wooden wood. Uh, I don't know. To me, a lot of the older oil paints are better than the modern oil paints. I don't know why. Same thing with the acrylics. A lot of the older acrylic paints seem to be better than the newer acrylic paints. And I'm talking about the ones you get in the tube. I remember showing up to a hobby shop. They were going to have a miniature painting uh, contest, and I showed up with one of those wooden boxes, and it had nothing but tube acrylics in it. And people laughed at me and said, "You can't paint miniatures with those. You need miniature paint." Yeah, I took third place. Guess I showed them. I used to paint a lot of miniatures. I haven't painted miniatures in probably 20 years now. Just I don't have enough time for all my hobbies. Yeah, it works good. I've been wanting to try a kneaded eraser on a comic book for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it. I've got one. Well, number one, I have to find it, and then I have to find a sacrificial comic book that I don't care if I ruin or not, because I kind of want to try one of those kneaded erasers on comic to see how it works. But like I said, this same technique can be used on books. It can be used on magazines. It can be used on posters. Uh, Pretty much anything that's printed, you can use this on. And did I just? Okay. I thought I just knocked myself offline. I'm just not happy with the way this looks up here. So, yep, crumble eraser. The art gum. That's the blocky yellow looking one. I've actually seen people use pink erasers on this, on comics, and you can do it, but you need a super, super light touch because those pink erasers will actually leave marks on the comic if you aren't careful. That's why I don't use them. I don't even think I own any. Yeah, I think these are little stains that I can't get out. So I might have to do some Immaculate on that and see if it'll take them out. What I'm going to try and I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to do it now. I'll take and I'll put a backing board and then something that'll soak, and then a piece of paper over it, and then I'll spritz the piece of paper with some hydrogen peroxide and then go over it with heat, and that might draw that stain out. I don't know. I got to do some research on it. I got to try it, and if it works, great. I'll show you how to do it. If it doesn't work, I'll never show you how to do it. So I think that's going to be it. It does look a whole lot better than what it did when I started. It's by no means perfect, but the idea was to spend a little quality time with people and show them how I do that. No, Immaculate is not made to take out a stain. Immaculate is made to, it's a surfactant. What it does is it gets under the dirt and allows you to remove the dirt, but it's not going to do anything for a stain. And as far as stains on posters, it depends on where the stain is, what type of stain it is, as to what you want to try to use it or do with it. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like if you haven't already. Go in, make a comment later on. Tell your friends about the video. Let them watch it. Have them leave a comment, give it a like, and that might help me out a little bit. And maybe I can make some more videos. In the meantime, everybody, make sure before you handle your comics, wash your hands. It's good for your comics. More importantly, it's good for your health. And yeah, I believe that's going to be it. And I will see you tomorrow night on Horizon Picks Auction. Bye.